The Hasbro era of Power Rangers has officially begun with the premiere episode of Beast Morphers. How was it? It was pretty great. The premise for this season focuses around a city's attempts to tap into the Morphin Grid, the power source of Power Rangers as established in previous seasons, and use it to provide clean and sustainable energy. Now, the Morphin Grid kind of being the center of the show is really great and pretty logical world building. Of course, official bodies would think of trying to use it for energy after so many generations of Power Rangers. It's also a really good chance for some franchise cohesion, kind of tying together all the different seasons through this unifying power source, kind of like the Force in Star Wars. The ongoing plotline of the grid being used for sustainable energy can also naturally bring up some discussion of pollution and the environment in future episodes, which I think is a really great way to bring up that talking point for younger viewers. You could say that not a lot happens in this episode in terms of sheer plot, but what we do get is some fantastic setup of the situations and the characters that will define the series. The core team actually has some pretty meaty characters set up that could unfold really nicely across their series arc. My good friend and fellow Ranger buddy Jessica actually broke down the characters I think really well. Quote, "Devon is a kid with little direction in his life and frequently butts head with his father in a position of power. Ravi is the only Ranger who should be there and feels conflicted about the opportunities he passed up to pursue it now that it's all gone wrong. Zoe has an attitude of pragmatism and stick-to-itness, but lacks the proper chances in life to explore that." Then, just for fun, she did a quick comparison with what we learn about these Rangers in their premiere episode versus what we learn about the Megaforce Rangers in theirs. Troy is sort of a loner, but not really. Noah is a nerd who likes robots. Gia is an object for Jake to pursue. Jake has a crush on Gia. Emma is an amazing BMXer. Yeah, you can see how this season is a big improvement already. After a few seasons of absent fathers, it's great to have some parents who are strong staples of the show from the get-go. Maya Daniels has a great performance as an overbearing father, but who's also nuanced enough so that we kind of see his point. He doesn't feel like a lazy strawman, bad dad, or mean politician. He appreciates the grid for the effect it can have on the environment, yet has concerns about its danger that turn out to be founded. His wish for Devon to move forward in his life also seems understandable, and less like he's trying to pressure him into a life he doesn't want, and more like he's frustrated that he hasn't quite started his life yet. His willingness to listen to Zoe and encouragement of her as well is very nice and reveals his kind heart. I think he might be my favourite character so far. Commander Shaw is also the Blue Ranger's mum. Oh my god, finally. A few months ago I began to realise that Power Rangers is all about the dads. Absent, evil, rude, and I began wondering, yo, where are the mums at, man? To the point that me and Jessica actually worked on a document to see how many mums are in Power Rangers. And it's not a lot. There are 14 mums shown across the 26 seasons of the show, with only one having a weighty role in the show's arc, versus the 28 fathers we have seen over the show, with 10 of them being important figures within the plot and or recurring characters. Now, as a fan of this season's Source Sentai, Go Busters, the most interesting thing for me are Blaze and Roxy, the two elements completely absent from the Sentai. The Dark Buster suit is badass, but was only in Go Busters for a hot 2 episodes, while the Roxy costume is a recolor of the character Escape, meaning pretty much all the footage we see of these two will be original to Beast Morphers. The idea of corrupted Rangers is undeniably cool, and there's a lot of potential to use their past relationship with Ravi going forward. Interestingly, I see these corrupted Rangers as kind of a subversion of your typical series. The way that this group is set up as your typical team, only to be largely corrupted and replaced by people who are quote-unquote lower down on the chain than them, makes for an interesting twist on the Chosen One narrative a Power Rangers season will often use. Now, Blaze is interesting to me. He can very much be interpreted as this white dude with too much pride and a short temper who is corrupted through a digital avatar that unleashes his darkest instincts. So yes, he is a gamer. I always have thought humanoid villains work best for Power Rangers, mainly because an actor can bring more charisma to the screen than a giant lump of plastic, but also because I think it sets up an important idea for younger viewers. You won't always be the Power Ranger in a story. Sometimes your actions can lead you astray and down a dark path. And if a child can see something of themselves in the villain, then there's a chance for some self-reflection. This is why I think villains like Ransik or Jared are the strongest the show has to offer. While I know Evox is the big bad this season, I have a feeling the Ranger avatars are going to be more compelling. So episode 1 is great setup that leaves you with questions and wanting to know more. What is Evox and where does it come from? Can Blaze and Roxy be saved? How will the family dynamics play out? And how will the team work together moving forward? Best of all, Beasts Unleashed offers a cohesive world and relationships between the characters that I can see functioning as a great sandbox for future stories to play around in. Here's to Beast Morphers.